Oh, Thomas.
Jack.
Isn't it glad? Aren't you glad it's just me and you this week?
That was rough.
I sometimes have moments like that. You can't say that about them, though, because I'll get insecure.
So that's literally the last thing I would ever want.
I will get really, really sad because I can't help sometimes that the words won't come out. I just wish they'd come out. We're still in America, by the way.
Shut up, I'm talking.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm talking. Shut up. Shut up.
Two equally weak intros there, everyone. Could you just do the main episode?
Let's just do the episode. Guys, we tried doing a few intros today.
Your voice isn't sounding too good, Jack.
All this touring you've got me doing is making me lose it.
Yeah, you are doing a lot of shouting and talking.
I'm doing a lot of shit. You really wrote in a lot of shouting for the guest and no shouting for yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm no shouter, Jack. I'm a peacemaker.
This is but what I've noticed is it means I have no voice and you have more.
Well,
It's all right though, guest. No, audience. I know, I'm having a difficult day with words today.
Yeah, it's all right though, man. Luckily, the podcast doesn't rely too heavily on words. So.
But look, this is a regular episode of Shut Up, I'm Talking. No guest. Yes, we may be on the road. Yes. But the structure is unchanged.
Oh, thank God.
So, Tom.
Oh, say it.
I want to know.
Say it.
Firstly, how you are. How are you finding the tour?
Jack, I'm very well. As you know, as you've spent the last 12 hours with me, we went to watch Revenge of the Sith yesterday.
We did.
And we spent 7 hours in a car together.
We did.
And then we spent many hours in a bar together.
We did.
It was a very Tom and Jack heavy day.
It really was. I'll be honest, this is a difficult episode to record right after I spent a whole day with you.
24.
Because I don't have much to ask. But, Tom, we're going to try.
We're in Atlanta right now, in the depths of America.
True.
It's very nice around here. We've been on tour for about a month.
This is actually lovely. When we went to Atlanta last time, we barely saw any of it, but I've been very impressed.
Anyway, Jack, I think it is your role as you taking the host mode. It's time for you to ask me the question.
All right, I guess we'll get on with it, shall we? Tom.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to change it up a bit. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Because
Tom,
the structure of the...
Tom, I don't care about your worst moment of the week. What's your worst moment of the tour?
No.
This probably doesn't change it.
I want you to ask...
Tom, as this is a special episode where we're on the road, we've got to adapt. We have to adapt.
Why would you change the structure like this last minute?
What's your worst moment of the tour?
Fine. Luckily for you, my pre-planned worst moment of the week still is my worst moment of the tour. You're damn lucky.
I expected this was the case.
Or else I'd be re-sorting through things. But let me tell you, Jack, whilst this tour has had some highs, it's had some lows. And I'll be tackling all of them today because our audience loves the lows. Bunch of sick. So, Jack, I'd say my worst moment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was horrible. As many of them often are.
Mate.
So, right, what happened was, I'd just done the gig in Boulder, Colorado.
I'm familiar, I was there.
After this gig, I was going to one town over. My literal favourite artist of this year, Sam Fender, was doing a show. And he said, you can come to the show and I'll let you in and we can go out afterwards. We're going for drinks. And I was like, oh, great. So
it was his birthday. You went set and stopped yourself.
It was his birthday. The second my show finishes in Boulder, I sprint and I get an Uber.
You literally pushed all your fans over and out of the way just to get in your Uber.
I did actually have. So I wanted the Uber to come around to the back of the show. I was in Boulder and needed to go to Denver, and I wanted it to come around the back, and it didn't. So I did actually have to go through like all of my stupid woke fans to get to the car.
Okay.
So I did that, and all of them was like 50, and I was like, "Oh, hey everyone, sorry, I'm getting in this Uber." So anyway, I shoved through my fans. And then I get in this car and I'm really excited. I'm thinking, oh gosh, this is going to be amazing. You know, I'm going to hear this music that's really changed my whole winter.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be able to hang out and ask him about this. I was over the moon, Jack. So it's about 40 minutes in the Uber. And by the time we get to Denver, I'm starting to notice hordes of people coming out the theater. This is when I first think, okay, it's not, I missed the show. This is fine.
Okay.
I'm going to see him in Belfast anyway with my mum. I think this is all right.
Let's just go get Bevs tonight.
Yeah, great. So I get to the
Bevs
venue.
are drinks, Americans. Have we ever clarified that? They don't say
really
Bevs.
good work, man.
What? You want them to be confused on the context?
That is the last thing I want. That is the last
Exactly.
thing.
Then wind your neck in.
So I get to the thing and I go, okay, right. Well, I'm meant to go backstage to speak, so I go up to the venue staff. I go, hey, I'm on the guest list. Thomas Simons, can I come in? And they go, no, the show's closed. You can't come in. And I go, but I'm on the guest list. They go, it doesn't matter. You can't come in. Now, because often people are on our show guest lists, I completely understand how the system works. So this security were doing the right thing. And I go, okay, what should I do? And they go, why don't you go over to the ropes and you can wait? And I went, okay, and try and speak to someone there. So I go down to where all of the mega Sam Fender fans are.
Yeah. Stage door.
To stand with them. After just wading through all of the Tommy Innit fans out stage door to go stand with all the Sam Fender fans at stage door an hour away. And I stand there for a few minutes and I've not heard back from the people who are trying to get me in. I think this is, okay, this is weird. And I'm in, it's not only is it freezing, I was later told it was one of the worst areas in Denver. So I'm stood there in the freezing cold just after my show and I go, okay, here's what I'll do. I go, look, I've got charisma, I'm British, I'll try this. So I go over to the security and I go, hey, look, you know, I'm on the guest list. I'm Thomas Simons. I actually have just done my own show in Boulder, and I'm here to meet Sam with friends. And she looks at me like I'm a fucking crazy person. And I go, no, I'm a comedian.
You were like the third person that had tried that night.
I look like the fucking Joker. I was like, I'm a comedian, and I've just done my own show the town over.
Want to hear a joke, lady?
And Sam's told me to come backstage and hang out with him. Trust me. You have to trust me. And they're like, we can't go get... And I'm like, no. And then this is where the real error comes in. I only had him on Instagram, so I had no way of contacting... And he wasn't replying. It was his birthday.
You're not going to be checking your Instagram DMs.
I have no ill will. But what I did think was, what do I fucking do? So I'm with the security, and I'm thinking, this is dire. I'm now about
you've driven
40 minutes
nearly
from
an
the hotel.
hour, yeah.
So this is when some of the diehard Sam Fender fans, who are also somewhat Tommy Innit fans, start recognising me. And then about half the Sam Fender fans start getting photos with me. At this point, I'm thinking, all right, you dickheads, I had a show on the same night as well, and you picked him over me, arseholes. But I try and
you don't deserve the picture.
I try and keep that in. So then I'm just hanging out with a load of Tommy Innit and Sam Fender fans in the dark at night, and it's really cold. And I'm stood there for a while thinking, like, maybe his tour manager, like, I don't know what to do. And so I speak to another security, go, look, could you just go grab the tour manager? Look, here's my messages. I'm not crazy. And I go, I'm not crazy. This only makes them think I'm more fucking
that
crazy.
That isn't the best thing to say to
and I'm
someone
like, no,
who's suspecting.
guys, I'm a comedian. I'm a funny guy. And look,
just keep stressing the comedian.
Me and Sam are friends. We've never met. But trust me, we're friends.
Did you really say you'd never met? Because that's a blunder.
It was a real...
I know it's true, but it really...
The whole thing was a blunder.
It really was.
So that, I'll be honest with you, that is quite a... I've had a lot of contenders for worst moment, and that was my worst one.
That is a solid...
Standing in the cold after my own show, thinking, this isn't how I...
This isn't what they told me stardom would be.
This isn't what... Oh, man, it was properly like, oh, yeah, okay.
That is tough.
Things have gotten worse. Things can't stay good forever, and...
Not doing well really was correct,
This is
it?
bad, yeah. Yeah. But
Damn.
it was good character building. No one can deny that.
Damn.
Jack, what was your worst moment of the tour?
Can I quickly, before we move on,
Yeah.
just remind you that the story you just told was bad, but your nan did die this tour.
No.
And I just feel maybe it was disrespectful to your nan.
Okay, here's the problem.
To go, Sam Fender airing me is the worst
No,
thing.
it wasn't him airing me. It was not getting his tour manager's details.
Right.
Sorry. No.
Neither here nor there, Tom. Your nan died.
Sure, but in my defense, at the last minute, like the fucking headfuck Black Mirror kind of character you are, you changed it from worst moment of the week to worst moment of the tour. How was I to remember my nan died?
Swear she died this week.
No, a couple of weeks ago. Kid, I'm over it. No, I'm really not. Sorry, Dad.
Sorry. Right, well, not to bring... hopefully this brings the mood back up. My worst moment...
And my granddad, too.
Was that on... that was on... fucking...
Yeah. But anyway, I really
You've
wanted
had a
to, I really,
tour. You've
I
had a
really
tour,
wanted
my
to
friend.
see hypersonic missiles.
It's a great song. It's
Yeah.
a fucking great song. My worst moment, someone will be glad to hear, is you know what? You know how usually we sort of argue over whose is worse. I'm just gonna say it. Mine's probably lighter, but mine also happened in Colorado, actually, in Boulder. I didn't think about this.
Which funny, because one was my favourite place we've stayed.
It really was lovely. It was a lovely place.
Let's not go too off topic. It's got to be your worst moment,
Yeah, I know.
kid. I just didn't want you to do our Colorado review early. All the Coloradian viewers are going to be sat here thinking, if we get them to watch till the end.
Tom, we'll speak about Colorado more later. But look, we were there. We had a great time. We had such a great time. It was the first night that we really had sort of a good night off, you know. And us two and the whole crew, we went for dinner, and we had some drinks. We had a great time, and we had quite. Turns out it's like a sort of student town. So there's a lot of like nightlife and bars and stuff. So we went to a karaoke bar. It was like a really. You can see why I'm losing my voice. It was a really great time. I had a great night. I had a fair bit to drink. No one's surprised. We're just gonna move through the
How
issue.
much did you have to drink, Jack?
I don't need to get into quantifiable
Shall
amounts, Tom.
So it was 3 glasses of wine.
Well, no, because you've missed the 3 beers at the start.
3 beers.
3 glasses of wine, 1 Negroni, 2 Amaretto and Cokes, 2 shots, 2 mystery shots.
If you are wondering, audience, yes, Jack does have a problem.
No.
And we're going to address it down the line.
No.
Right now, it's manageable.
No, you saw me that night. I was fun.
To be fair, though, audience,
What do you want?
he was fun.
Do you want the world to have less fun?
No, you were very fun.
Exactly. So I'm going to carry
But it's
on.
going to kill you.
Something will. It's an inevitability, Tom. Anyway, we don't need to get into my demise. Basically, I had a lot to drink, as we've said. I get a little bit drunk, but it's fine. I've been there before. You know, I get back to the hotel. I have a little run, you know, just to prove to myself I still can. Then I go to bed.
Yeah.
I wake up the next morning. I won't lie to you, Tong. I said Tong.
You call me Tong. I thought we could move past it because the words aren't coming to you today. But
Really
I thought,
not.
yeah.
I won't lie to you, Tong. I was pretty hungover. I woke up. I thought, this isn't the finest I've ever felt. But you know what? Whatever. That's the consequences of fun. I'm thinking, whatever, I'll get through the day. The show isn't till fucking... I don't go on until 9 p.m. It's currently 9 a.m. I've got 12 hours to best this.
Sure.
You know? Have a breakfast, have a full fat Coke, I'll be fine. I do those things. I have a breakfast. Load of water, full fat Coke. I go, yeah, I'm ready to conquer the world. Problem is, when I said conquer the world, I more meant sort of lie about all day and then do a show in the evening. That wasn't the idea Tom Simons had in mind, because Tom turned to me and went, Jack, do you want to go on a walk? I thought, you know what, actually, maybe a bit of fresh air would do me good. All right, let's go for a walk. Where does Tom pick? Up the side of a fucking mountain.
It was a good hike.
You dragged me up the side of a mountain. You knew full well I was violently hungover, and never at any point did you think to go, Jack, we're in one of the highest altitude cities in America, up in the mountains, and what I'm going to do is actually make you go higher and climb further up a mountain with a lack of oxygen, whilst you're already feeling like death could take you any minute. So I had this like awful... I got about halfway up.
You did look quite rotten halfway
I
up.
really... I've never felt more like I was like, my body could give up. Not me. I wasn't mentally going to get... My body, my legs might have just given way. I was like, I actually feel so bad.
You and Eryn were both giving in.
Yeah, but Eryn had no excuse. I don't even get what his problem was, because he doesn't drink or nothing.
Yeah.
He just was lazy, man.
So
A lazy guy. But anyway, we turned back and we walked all the way home to the hotel. Because fuck that.
Well,
I
I just did a hike through the American wilderness alone.
Yeah, I did worry about
I called
you.
my dad and then the signal dropped.
I did worry that I thought there's not going to be great signal up there. If he gets in bother, we can't help him. But at the same time, I also thought, even if he did have a phone, I can't get up there today.
True. What would you have even
If you
done
had
if there was
been attacked by an animal or, God forbid, a human, I would have been powerless to stop it.
Which I'll get to later. On that walk, one of those things got pretty close. Not pretty close.
What?
No, that was a lie. That was exaggerate. That was hyperbole. But there was a scary dog.
Did it actually do anything, or did it just look scary?
Looked scary. It was very friendly.
It's a really sweet dog that you're like,
But it looked fucking scary. Anyway, guys, It has been a busy month since our normal episode, a month and a bit.
It has. We've
I've
barely
been
caught
on
up with you
tour.
guys.
For me, I've had a mad few weeks. I turned 21. I was in Black Mirror. My granddad and nan died. I was in the Times and was called the antidote to Andrew Tate. And my book came out. It has been dense.
And I too have had crazy weeks. You know, I had that night in Colorado, as you know.
Yep.
And yeah, well, I've just been in America, really. It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Mental. But I think we'd like to go through chronologically what's happened. I mean, I'll start with the UK tour, which was excellent. Jack wasn't on this.
I weren't there.
He wasn't there.
I wasn't invited on the UK tour this year because Tom said I can get better people for that.
It's true. It's true. And Daniel Howell bested you.
Whoa.
You live in the shadow of Filzer. Yeah, can't. Anyway, but what wasn't awesome is first show day, I wake up, Jack, on the day of the show in Glasgow, and I look down, and I have a full body rash. The night before, I think, my hand looks a bit funny. Then I wake up and my body looks a bit funny. Have you ever had a full body rash, Jack?
I don't think so. I'm not dirty like
It is
that.
an unsettling...
How did you get a full body rash?
Well, let me get into it, please. It was a very unsettling... If you ever look at your naked body and it's all blotchy red, you think, things aren't going to be good today. That was what I thought. So immediately, I go straight to the Glasgow A&E. The Glasgow A&E, Jack, is not the place to hang.
I can imagine there is a lot of
Jack,
people
on
off their
on
face.
a Sunday morning. So we go in, and there is this fucking crazy drunk man who's speaking deep Scottish, who's kind of chatting to this other woman loudly, and I'm thinking, I'm not happy.
Be honest with me. Did you walk in? Did you hear anyone? Because this is my favourite Glaswegian phrase. They go, "Me, I'm off my head." Surely one of them did.
Imagine that noise you just made, but for like an hour straight.
Me, I'm off my head.
I just heard that sort of as like a low frequency, like music in the background of a coffee shop. So that was quite unnerving. And then I got pulled into a separate room and I waited for an hour and a bit. And I was very hungry. And I kept thinking, I actually am doing my first show. This is really weird. I have to go meet Filzer in an hour. And I'm here in
Wait, that was your first show?
It was the day of the show.
Oh, fuck. Like,
It was the actual
single show prior.
No.
I thought you'd at least
done
done one or two.
the warm-up show in Brighton.
Oh, with Harry, yeah.
But that was the day of the show. So anyway, then I finally this awesome Scottish nurse comes in, doctor. She sorts me out. She says you just had an allergic reaction to some amoxicillin, which I had for my toothache. So kids, don't do antibiotics. They'll give you a full body rash. No matter what the doctor says, don't do them. Then I had a good, really good few shows, and Jack Sucks at Life came about, who, as you know, I watched years ago.
Yes.
There were some excellent moments with Freddie being very, very awkward around him.
I've witnessed that before. It's great. It's the best thing
He
ever.
kept asking him really specific questions that were socially wrong. Like, I notice you're drinking water. It's all right. I suppose I can wait.
I've noticed the problem with these handheld mics is we can't...
Yes.
Once you have to do any task with your hands... You're out the podcast. You've gone on Discord mute for like a few minutes. You know what I mean? It's like quite difficult to like engage.
But,
so Freddie
did some of his. That was very amusing.
He does that, yeah.
And then I did the Daniel Howell show, which was excellent. I really truly bonded with him before the show.
This is how I can tell it was good, because every other place you've called by name of place, and this one was not the London Palladium, which is sick. It was the Daniel Howell show.
It was really good.
I believe you.
Added a lot of jokes too to mine and his script that gave it an underlying sexual tension, which wasn't in any of the other shows.
Was this arousing? Or
it was different.
I'm not sure what to take from that. Different to the other shows, or just different for you as a life experience?
And then I went to the United States of America.
Where we are now.
This is when you joined me.
I did.
Our first stop, Seattle.
What a fucking place.
What a place. We love it. S tier.
I mean that in both senses, because what a place. How gorgeous. Washington State, the mountains, the trees, the nature. And then what a place. The fentanyl. There's like... I've never seen such a beautiful place have like such a problem.
Yeah.
It really like made me go, this is... You know what it is? Whenever I come to America, I sort of remember, and we'll get into this a bit later because I said this yesterday due to another thing. America has some of the highest highs. There's some real beauty out here. It also, I'm comparing it to the UK here, has some of the lowest lows. Like, you know when it gets bad here, it gets so much worse than what I'm used to back home.
Sure.
Like the lower end of the UK is like not quite the worst of America. And I noticed that. And Seattle really has both of those things. Continue. You clearly had a point about.
Yeah, and we just took us. I just didn't. Fentanyl is bad.
Fentanyl is. I've noticed that throughout this entire trip. We've been to a few places where you really feel that.
How would you summarize fentanyl for our younger viewers? I met on tour.
It's something you should.
We have
do.
there's one. I think he was called George. Lovely lad. I've got a letter he gave me. He's 8 and he loves the podcast and the Patreon.
So this is for George, who is 8. Please don't do fentanyl, George. It's bad.
George, yeah.
It will
Fentanyl.
kill
And what
you.
is it?
It's sort of the closest thing we've got back home is like heroin. It's like another opioid.
How would you explain heroin to 8-year-old George? He's learning a lot.
I think I knew about heroin when I was 8.
But you're from Mansfield. Very few 8-year-olds know about
I think that was mainly the reason. I think I knew people on heroin at 8.
You know Haribo's? Imagine that to the extreme. That's how I would describe heroin and fentanyl. Anyway, sorry, George. I met a lot of our audience over this tour, Jack. Some of them are very young, and this was a very shocker to me that an 8-year-old has watched me and you
have these conversations,
explore our psyche to do with our relationship with YouTube. I thought when I was 8, I literally was watching fucking Bob the Builder.
Yeah, no.
Like this
YouTube Kids has really let them down. You know what I mean? I don't know how this made it through.
really has.
But yeah, so anyway, Seattle was the first stop.
Seattle was great.
Fucking wonderful place.
And
We
a
had a great
mental
time.
thing happened in Seattle on the day of the show that you spotted, where you went out to cross the road and you pressed the cross the road.
Oh my god,
button.
yeah.
You tell
So
it.
I went to get a haircut. Was what I'd done.
Oh, and so did I, by the way. I went to get a fucking haircut. Mate, it cost me goddamn $26 fucking dollars. $30 odd dollars.
All right.
And they literally just cut the back of my fucking hair, and I look like I've got a fucking Lego brick for a hair.
They gave you no blend. But you don't have to be too pissed off because mine was also $26. When our haircut is the same price, that's some fucking issue in pricing.
They did fucking less for my haircut than they did for yours,
They probably
mate.
did.
They literally spent about 6 minutes on it. I could not believe it, and I didn't have the gall to go.
We had the same barber as well because he remembered you because he asked if I was with you.
I didn't have it to tell him, look, mate, this is a terrible piece of work.
He was a really sweet older fella, wasn't he?
He was really kind.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to tell a really kind man who's just been telling me how he's worked here for 30 years that he fucking won't be working here for 31 at this rate.
But anyway, so I'm walking back from getting the haircut, and all the time, I keep hearing this fucking voice. I'm like, why? I figure someone's like watching
having
a video.
an episode?
No, I figure someone is like watching a video on their phone out loud. I'm like, God.
Sure.
But I keep hearing this voice over and over again. I don't clock it's the same voice at first. I'm thinking, does no one in fucking Seattle have headphones?
Yeah.
Like getting like quite annoyed. And I'm like, I'm waiting at a crossing. Someone presses the button, and the voice comes out of the fucking crossing, and it goes, "Hello, this is Jeff Bezos. This crossing is sponsored by Amazon Prime." And then it cuts off, and because whenever it got to the point where you could cross, it cuts off. So that's all I've heard at this point. I go, Amazon just sponsored the crossings, and I believe it. I like fully believe that Amazon has sponsored the crossings. America's fucking mental. You can sponsor anything here.
Oh, by the way, in American crossings, they don't just like make a beep. They like go, wait, when you press the
they're
thing.
sort
They like
of-
talk a bit. It's
Yeah.
weird.
So I was like, okay, Amazon have sponsored the crossings. Amazon, I believe, are originally Seattle based. So I was like, cool, makes sense, whatever, move on. Then I get to the next crossing. I press it, and Jeff Bezos is now speaking to me. And he says, he goes, this is sponsored by Amazon Prime. And then he goes, please don't tax the rich. And I go, and I start clocking. Oh, this isn't, someone's hacked the fucking crossings. Like, this is clearly not Jeff. This is an AI-generated Jeff Bezos manuscript in which he basically, I can't remember the word for word, but he says, don't tax the rich. Wouldn't it be so sad if all the rich people had to move away from Seattle, guys? That would be awful. We don't want them to move away or get Luigi'd, which is fucking mental. And then it just kind of
plays the Bo Burnham.
Oh, and then it plays the Jeff Bezos fucking Bo Burnham song. And then it just ends. And it was like, one, I don't even know how you fucking hack crossing lights. That terrified me as a concept. Because what if someone just made them all green all at once? That would cause a lot of collisions.
That would literally cause collisions.
I was like, sort of like, I don't like that someone has managed to hack the crossing. Like, I was like, really stressed me out. So that was already bad. But also, like, what fucking dystopia is? What?
It was really weird.
It really weirded me out. It was funny.
It was also hilarious.
Hilariously funny, but really weird. And then also, apparently, they'd also done it in LA the same day. And there it was Elon saying something else. It was like,
as far as hacker groups go, what a fun thing to do, though.
To be fair,
just a bit of a troll.
Yeah, part of me kind of wishes they'd taken it a little bit more seriously and said something a little bit more important.
Yeah, they were really good hackers, but unfortunately, they were also memers.
Yeah, I you know, the fact that it was like, don't tax the like. I don't think you're breaking new ground. I think a few people have said that before.
It was funny though.
It was funny, but I feel like you could have said something more meaningful with the crossing.
It's true.
But I don't want to say that to a group of hackers.
Next time you hack the crossing,
hackers. Yeah, hackers. What are you gonna do? Shut up! I'm talking and make us say something. I don't think so.
We've already said anything you could AI generate us to say.
So that was mad.
I tell you what then happened. So we went on this big hike around Seattle, which was just amazing, with big man editor Larry. We went on a fucking awesome day out. Also on this day, Larry's car broke down and we had to walk along the highway to get new auto parts. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Larry's car broke down?
Well, here's the thing. You gave me that look that like, oh, should I not bring it up?
No, it was, you're lying, Tom. Well, you know you're lying.
Well, yeah, but the way I was explaining the story was it was going to have a plot twist.
Ah.
This would be like at the beginning of The Sixth Sense, where you'd be like, actually, he's definitely dead. Like, what was that, mate?
I just gave you a look. I was planting a seed, but then you got panicked by my look and you had to ask.
It was not a very seed planting. This is a seed planting look.
That's what I did.
You know, you gave me it had a lot of concern under it. This bit isn't going to be very good for our audio listeners.
We're pulling a lot of faces.
The look comparison section of the...
it's tough.
But yeah, no, anyway, we go on this excellent walk with editor Larry, whose car we thought would broke down, so we had to walk along like a fucking highway to go to this auto parts shop. It was 3 hours of our day, and then it turned out it was just in reverse. So
you can't start a car in reverse, we found out.
No.
You got to put it in park.
Yeah, so that was...
But no, like, let's really... like. A man who worked at the Kroger we'd broken down in front came out from his job and spent an hour to open up Larry's car. It turned out this guy was just an amateur mechanic. Opened up the car, pulled the engine apart, put this new part in it, fixed it all.
And this old woman invited us around to her house as well.
That was sort of a secondary thing.
But it did happen.
It did happen, though.
A lot happened.
But the guy then gets in the car, tries to start it. It doesn't start. We all go, fuck. And he just looks at the gear shifter and goes...
And then he looks the most disappointed.
I've never seen anyone...
While trying to conceal it, any man's ever looked.
I would say disappointed and a bit angry.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone try and mask anger that well.
He did really well. But you could just see
But you could just see the cracks.
Anyway, so we went on this amazing walk, and Eryn filmed it with this sort of beautiful footage that I turned into this video called 21. Little square video.
All right, promo out of the way. Chat Manifold TV on every platform, by the way. This is what we're doing now.
It wasn't a promo. It was just more of an ode.
So I'm gonna start calling it now when I sell merch. Ode to merch. Yeah, shut up.
I'm talking.
Ode to merch.
Anyway, and then after we got on the text, I get the walk. I get a lovely text from Auntie Judith going, "Oh, I love that video, Tom. It was so sweet. By the way, beware of hike killers." Go, what? She goes, yeah, there's been some hike killings recently, and America is the place of copycat crime. So beware of the hike killers. I go, what? All right, Judith. And
what do
then
you mean? They're just killing people on hikes.
yeah,
We've done so many hikes.
Well, this is the thing. She said, whatever you do, don't go on a hike alone. Now, a couple of days later, you won't believe what hungover Jack and tired Eryn decide to do. Is to leave me to go on a hike alone. And I'm hiking through the woods of Boulder thinking, and then I remember and I think, I hope a hike killer isn't about, because what I'm doing is exactly where Judith said they would be. This is the prime fucking...
You're not a great target, though, because people would very quickly recognise Tommy and it was dead. If I was a hike killer, which I'm not, but if I was to get into the mind of someone who kills on hikes, murders people who are walking, I wouldn't want to pick the one that everyone would go,
where's he gone?
that Tommy Innit kid was killed on a hike. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's a bad pick. So if anything, in your heart, know that actually now I don't want to like encourage. There's gonna be one of those hike killers watching this going, oh, they'll see. So never mind. Sorry, hike killers.
You go on a hike in fucking Australia, Tommy, and it will get you. But no, I didn't.
You didn't get killed. Clearly.
And George, 8-year-old George, don't do hike killing. Sorry, I just want...
realistically, don't hike alone. Is probably what we should tell an 8-year-old.
I've done a lot of... don't hike alone either. I've done
don't
lot
talk
of
to strangers.
A lot of meet and greet. Don't even talk to us. But we did already, George, and it was very nice. I've done a lot of meet and greets over the past... I've met like thousands of fans, and I've really gained a sort of slight new understanding of that some of my viewers are still quite young. Not all of them. Most of them aren't now. Some of them still really are, and I'm gaining a bit of a sense of, oh, maybe we should not do.
I do. It's nice that you've had that, because I know when I've had meet and greets and like someone has shown up who's like a lot younger than I expect, sort of like that sort of below 10 sort of age range.
I assumed making videos just about my mental health and
would dissuade
angry
them.
blue ones would, but no, it's actually George's favorite thing is the podcast.
Yeah, that shocks me.
He loves it, and you're his favorite. His mum told me. His mum said, "You're fine, Tommy, in it, but you're his favorite."
Oh, hi George. I didn't meet him, so
yeah,
lovely to see. But quickly before we move on, what I was saying was, the thing that really gets me is you've really taken a responsibility where I've always just like sort of when a kid's come to a meet and greet, sort of looked at their parent and gone,
it is unusual. Yeah. But hey,
I don't mean to judge, but
if they're gonna learn about the nuances of one's relationship with YouTube after success, this is the place to do it.
It's true.
They don't teach you that in school, Jack.
No, they don't, unless they take me into your school and have me teach you, because I did do that
once. You're not
once.
even allowed back.
That right? Let's not have that go around.
Yeah, you're not a hike
Which
killer.
is not wrong. Sorry, it's a rumor, by the way. That's
a rumor.
No, I'm trying to say it's made up.
A rumor.
It's a lie. It's a fib.
A rumor was very different.
I know. I'm struggling with words. That you picked a bad day to accuse me of something false.
A rumor.
It's not true. I'm allowed back to that school not whenever I please, probably, but. God, can we just move on?
I on one of my first hikes, this is before I knew about hike killers in Seattle, there was a huge bridge in the park, the scaffold of a massive bridge that cars go over, and I was alone, and I really got a real internal sense of, yeah, we came from monkeys. So what I did was, I went to this fucking bridge, and I started climbing up the scaffolding.
You've got a few pictures of you like halfway up this like abandoned bridge.
It was fucking dark. I was getting quite high, and then I thought, oh, I'm doing a show tomorrow, and I'm alone. And if I'd have known about hike killers, it would have dissuaded me even more. So I thought, do you know what? And I properly was proud of myself because something kicked in that said, don't do this, Tom. Don't go any more up this bridge, Tom. You're high and alone.
I love how you're like, I'm proud of myself. And I was like, I think even getting halfway up that bridge was already a bit of a lapse in judgment.
No, because I was just like, it made me feel alive, Jack.
I'm just gonna move on.
And then we went to San Francisco.
No, you've skipped
to meet
it.
Techno Dad.
You've skipped. They've seen that.
How did we get there to San Francisco? Look, transition into your next point, idiot.
Oh, I fucking hate airports.
See?
There's a big difference in this tour to the previous ones we've done. We've always went around via bus. We've always driven everywhere. And this time round, we've decided instead, for reasons unbeknownst to me,
Budget.
I was aware. I thought it'd be a funny little. Only you would know. Yeah, it's the budget. We're running out of money.
No.
Tom's running out of money.
No, Tom's not running out of money.
I'm joking. But anyway, we have basically, instead of being on a bus, we've been flying everywhere. I very quickly realised, because I thought this would be quite good, because every night we get a hotel rather than sleeping in a little coffin on a bus. And I thought this could be quite nice. Fuck that. We have spent so much time in the airports. Yeah. And this is it. Flying is not my issue. No problem with a plane. It's fine. It's actually relatively comfy. They've got TV screens with media. They've got Wi-Fi these days. Like, there's really not much you can complain about. They've got food. For
the flights are excellent.
That's fine. But I fucking hate the limbo the airport. You know in Dante's Inferno, the description of hell, when he describes limbo, the first ring of hell. What I think is they've not invented a word for airport yet, because it's this godless place, just this place of misery. Everyone is there waiting, and you can't really do any. Maybe this is because I've got ADHD. I really struggle to do anything productive in an airport, because I know at any moment I'm gonna have to go. Oh, never mind, I've got to go get on a plane, and everything's fucking expensive as shit, and everyone's tired because they all woke up really early, because you got to get, for some reason they always say to you, remember to get to the airport 3 hours before your flight. You know how you get through airport security in 10 minutes most of the time, and you just sit there for 3 hours wallowing.
Can I just say, audience, I actually have genuinely, I'm not just saying this to be contrarian, really enjoyed the airports. Beside the last couple,
what possibly have you enjoyed about the airport?
Well, you get through security, and then you have some nice food, and it's oh, amazing. And then you go and sit.
Airport food. Did you just describe as nice food?
Look, okay, not nice, but you have food, and the point is anything's nice food when you're that hungry and tired. You have some food, you get a big bottle of water, and then you sit for 2 hours.
Yeah, but you spend fucking $7 on.
Nevertheless, and then you sit, and you just fucking, especially Seattle Airport, you stare out this view, and I just am always listening to some amazing music, and I'm always sat there and I take off my headphones occasionally and hear the noise and clutter around, and then I put them back on, and then I'm just wow, I'm just listening to this calming Western Stars, the greatest travel album ever, and I'm just listening to Bruce Springsteen's Western Stars, wow, I'm traveling.
This is great, but imagine you were doing that on a bus, looking out to the road at the beautiful sights
around you. The bus had
you.
tinted glass, which is annoying.
The one on the UK tour didn't. I think we oh, it did, but
it did.
You had on the UK tour we had little bunk windows. Remember? And if you got in your bunk and laid in bed.
I didn't have a bunk. I had a suite. At the back of I had a big room.
You can see how touring with this guy is.
Oh,
you can really see what.
But my point being is, I've truly enjoyed it. Besides, the last couple I found exhausting, but they have been the worst airports and considerably.
And I hate queuing. I hate standing in the TSA queue, and sometimes the TSA.
And I always have great banter with the TSA agents.
You know what? Because sometimes they can be so mean. They're so serious, and for some reason you have this actual magical power that you're able to disarm any TSA agent. I'm not going.
Not disarm.
You would make a great terrorist.
No, not disarm.
Remember the first lady in Heathrow the day we were flying out to the US tour.
I never even remember.
And you sort of you started talking to her. I remember you got in this joking argument with her, where she was you need another train. You're why didn't you tell me that before? You're being mean, lady. And you sort of gave her a bit of that, and she was don't start on me. But she sort of did it in this joking way. It was weird.
It's very fun.
I've never seen anyone. You know what it is? Usually TSA bully you into doing things. I've never seen anyone sort of bully them back, and them, instead of getting annoyed and pulling you aside, actually sort of go whoa whoa whoa. It was really weird.
But I had one where I can't remember what I said. Oh yeah, no, I did. This is one. I was accidentally a bit gobby-jack, where I'd put all my things in airport security. I'd finally taken out all my bags. I'd separated them all. It was one of those ones you need 3 trays.
Yeah.
I got all the trays to the very end of the line, and then I had to give them a little push.
Yeah.
and the lady like didn't do it, and I'd already gone over there.
Oh, that was funny.
And so I went over, and I was like, "Can I not push him?" She's like, "No, you have to do the pushing yourself." And I went, "Oh, that's awesome, because I love pushing my own box. I love that I have to do it." And I kind of said it, but I didn't deliver it too jokey enough. I said it quite like, "Oh, I love that I'm doing this."
I think actually exactly what he said was, "Oh, I just love doing." Wait, no, it was like, "I just love working here as well," or something.
Yeah,
like something along those. It was really rude.
It wasn't really rude.
I know you didn't mean it really rude, but it was.
No, it wasn't really rude.
It was a little rude.
It were a little rude, but I regretted it. But it were a little rude. And I'll tell you why I regret it. Because here's the thing. When you say that sort of thing in the British place, everyone can detect your sarcasm and it's funny. Because they know I'm just having a bit of a sarcasm. You know what I mean? And they have a laugh. They don't in America. They don't find that.
They don't have the same.
They don't. And usually it goes over their heads. But what happened even now is it was worse. Is she started then like explaining to me the rules of the TSA and why we're all responsible for our own luggage and why I have to do it. And I was like, I wish this didn't happen. Wish things had gone different. I don't think I was very rude.
You weren't. You have made the airports more enjoyable, to be fair. But
But I don't want people to think I'm cruel to the TSA.
You're not. You're not. You have.
Just that one was a joke that
that
fell
one
quite
did
flat.
fell a bit flat.
But it was on me. It was the delivery.
But yeah,
And let me just say as well, I have had amazing flights. Beside the last one, which was like 3 hours from Denver to Florida, that was pretty tough. But of like the 5 we've had, we had a 9-hour flight. Every flight we've had, I have slept for almost all of it. And this is because I have my excellent Tom Simon sleeping strategy that I can do that no one else can do.
no one else on earth can do this.
No one else can do. And I just fold up. So because of years, when I would sit and work at my desk that I made all my videos for like 5 years, I sat like this. Audio listeners, Jack can describe it for you.
He has tucked his knees up to his chin.
But what it means
and
is
I've curled up in a little
I've created
ball
this
in the
great
chair.
flexibleness where I can just like...
I just don't understand how you're comfy.
I'm really comfy. And I just curl up into this
But
tiny
I just have
ball.
pictures of him because I always find it quite amusing. Just curled up on airplane seats.
And like in everywhere. I just curl up in places.
You also have no fear about getting slightly too close to the person next to you.
No.
You don't. I noticed that.
When did you notice that?
When you did it to me yesterday in the car, you basically put your head in my lap.
I've done that before with Freddie. I've slept in his lap. But this is because me and Freddie are so close.
I don't think I could hack that with you.
Really
I
fucking
really do
did
like
already.
you, but I just don't think I could. Anyway, all this to say, I really fucking miss our tour bus.
Yeah.
It was so much better, man. The genuine reason though, the actual reason I realised this is touring's like this kind of mad experience. Like your life is this really weird blend of the same thing every fucking day because you do the same show, you wake up at the same time. It's very similar. You do the same stuff, but it's also never the same. Because you're always in a different place that you've never really been to before. The only consistent humans in your life are like the 3 other people you're traveling with. It's like half the time these are strangers that you met about a week ago, but now they feel like the closest people in the world to you because they're the only people that you see every day that aren't
It's really weird,
NPC strangers. Like, no, not to be rude, but you know what I mean? Like, you
Jack, when he sees a minimum wage worker.
no, not even people like
Weird NPC stranger.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like everyone you see is someone you've never seen before in your life because they're just like strangers from a city, and the only people you actually even remotely know are like the 3 people that are traveling with you. I know what you can take.
Just how much me and Aaron were laughing of you calling venue workers weird.
I'm
NPC
not calling the venue. I'm talking
strangers.
about the people you walk past in the street and shit. Anyway, I'm not taking this. So
Jack.
But what I'm saying is, last time I realised there was one thing that was quite grounding throughout the whole thing, and that is every night I slept in the same bed and I had the same place. And although it was in a different city, that bus with that little living room and that little fridge with a few beers that we could all share at the end of the day was like, it was home. And like, although home moved cities every day, home was the same.
Yeah.
And this time we have like,
home is your back.
every time you sleep, it's like a hotel you've been in for at most one night prior. We've never been in one place for more than 2 days.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not
weird.
liking the lack of a consistent home. I think I really, really took a lot of comfort in the bus that I didn't realise until this time it was gone. I'm like, oh my God, I hate it.
It is pretty difficult.
I don't hate it. I'm having a great time. But it's definitely
Yeah, I
that
hate
part.
that small bit, yeah.
I hate that little element. I hate the lack of consistency.
Now, Jack,
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and skip us past a few points to make sure we cover this in the main episode.
I know
Because,
I know which part you're going to talk about because I know you really
audience,
want to talk about this.
we have had 4 encounters.
4?
2 of them were just me.
Ah.
Well, one, you were there sort of for one. This was on your Colorado night when you don't remember it.
No, I remember. I
Anyway,
remember this guy.
We've had
actually.
4 interactions with strangers, progressively more fucking mental than the last. And I'd like to tell you this, and our British audience, I want you to understand that for this part of the story, we're not going to exaggerate anything. Sometimes we do a little bit. I'm going to keep it as grounded because me and Jack were saying, you know how we watch American sitcoms and they're like, this is a bit much. People aren't really like this. They are, and that's a real shock to me.
People are
Fucking
the thing
mental.
I said earlier, the higher highs and the lower lows, and I mean that in terms of interactions as well. Like the top end of a mental interaction you can have here
It's
is
so
so
more
much
mental.
further, so much crazier than it possibly gets at home. There are some real fucking characters in this place.
Let's dive in. So I'm going to go through my first ones. First was my solo hike in Colorado. Towards the end of it, I started walking next to this guy, and the guy looked very unthreatening, but he did have a... Sorry. He did have a fucking terrifying dog. One of those, like, Mr. Burns dogs.
But it wasn't.
I was quite scared of
It
him.
was a fine dog.
And he just kept walking by my side, and I thought, right, this is a real kill or be killed moment. So I decided to befriend him, and then he was really lovely. And he told me about how he was coming to London and how he looks after old people.
Oh, wait, so you're telling me that you didn't have a crazy interaction with a guy, you just got scared of a guy?
Well, I was fucking by myself in the middle of a woods thinking about hike killers, and then
but
a
you
fucking
can't
hike
blame
killer.
him. He seems like a
No,
person. he
he
cares for old people, for
He
fuck's
was really
sake.
kind. Anyway, that was number 1. He was a bit scary.
I'll be honest, you've really not kicked off this set. You know how we were
Well,
like,
I said I'm not going to exaggerate.
we looked at the camera and we went, America is crazy.
There was a guy with
There was a guy who looks after old people and his dog was a bit scary.
Okay,
and he
fine,
was
fine,
lovely.
fine. Next, we were in this bar in Colorado, and I went over to, as I do once I've had a drink, went over to many different groups
Strangers.
of people, introducing myself. And I went over to this group, and there was this one guy whose name I'm just going to call Riley. And I went over, and he was with his girlfriend in a big group, and they were playing pool. And I went, or snooker.
Billiards.
Yeah. And I
Snooker's
went,
a different game.
I want to play. And they went, all right. And so they let me play on the next game. And I kept telling them all, I'm fucking amazing at snooker. I'm fucking so good.
Snooker's a different game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Pool. I'm fucking amazing at pool. I'm really good. Here's the thing. I never played no pool. And so he starts doing pool. And I start taunting him. And I just start going. But the thing is, because Americans don't really get self-depreciating humor, I do quite unusual taunts. Like, I'm going to defeat you with my tiny willy. I'd had a pint. I'd had 2. And he was getting quite sort of rowdy, but a bit confused by what I was doing. Because it sounded like I was being kind, bigging myself up. But what I was saying was putting myself down. So I keep going, me and my tiny willy are going to destroy you. Which I'm aware doesn't sound good. But guys, don't worry. We were at the vibe where it was fine. We chatted for long enough. What?
I just don't know anyone that has such weirder interactions with strangers. And this is the thing. You are equating these stories to the next 2 people who were genuinely, actually, quite mental, the people we met. These last 2 stories, you have been the fucking nutter, right? You are the mental one in these stories. I really want to stress what you met was a slightly energetic... I met this guy in the bar. He was an energetic American.
Yeah, but what he started doing
and you had a lot of fun with that.
It's because I started calling him all these weird insults. He started doing them back. He started going, wanker, wanker, and trying to say it in a British accent. But he did the masturbating emotion and then the cum with his hand. But he started doing it so loud and he was pissing off his girlfriend and he kept going, wanker, wanker, I got a video of him doing it and he kept doing it. And I just kept egging him on and on and on to the point where I was thinking, oh, I should stop egging him on. It's getting a bit rowdy. So then I told him he's great.
He shouted at me across the bar a few times. We had a weird drinking rivalry.
Yeah.
That's all I remember. I don't remember much of it because I kept drinking to try and beat him. But but we had a weird rivalry where he was like,
so sick.
he's like, I'm Irish, I can beat you. And he was like Irish in the way Americans are Irish, where like they have like one great nan who's from Ireland.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway,
Just
now,
so you know, by the way, audience, when I went up to this guy saying I was going to destroy him with my tiny willy, it was once I knew that the vibe. We've been chatting for a while. I don't just go up to strangers and say I'm going to destroy them with my tiny willy. That'd be wrong. I just don't want George to think that that's an okay thing to do. But George, if you've had a couple drinks and the vibe's right and you're trying to make
he's
it laugh.
8 for fuck's sake.
Sorry, George. Sorry.
Right, I'm now going to begin the stories of the next two guys we met because these two, like these are actually weird. This is not just Tom being weird. These are weird interactions.
I wasn't being weird.
You were being weird. We were in Seattle. We were walking around. Now it's going to sound like we are being weird. We're walking around the University of Washington campus. The reason being, it is a tourist attraction. There's basically they bought all the airspace from the university to a mountain, and they like basically lined it with blossom trees. And it's like a really beautiful view. So we were like, cool, let's go have a look at that. So we go have a wander, and we're walking through the campus, and we see the view, and I go, great, we're about to leave, and I see a guy, and this guy, I saw him on the way in, but I didn't think anything of it at the time. Saw him on the way out, and he had a trolley, sort of thing, with a lot of stuff on it. But the things that really
Most
stood out to
notably-
me was a giant plush tiger with a printer under it. And he was dressed in a purple robe.
A magic robe.
It did seem magic. He seemed like a wizard.
Well, and when we say giant plushie, from the size of this end of the sofa, it looked like something from Disneyland. It didn't look like
It was
something from a
really,
shop.
really big. So anyway, go up to him and I go, hey, and this is what I ask, and this is genuinely,
I come with you.
This is my biggest question I had for him. I go, hey, sorry, why does your tiger have a printer? Because I don't know why that stood out to me the most. And he went, it's a copier. First loss for me. I go, and I chuckle. I go, okay, sure. Why does your tiger have a copier? And he just looks at me like a moron.
I'm stood next to you as well.
I know. Cool. Anyway,
I'll. What? Well, you're saying it like it's happening to just you, but it happened to both of us.
yeah, because I'm the one talking.
Sure.
Fucking hell, man. I'm in the story too. Fucking hell. Right. So anyway, he goes, fucking, it's a copier. I go, right, sorry, why is this tiger have a copier? And he looks at me like I'm a fucking idiot. He looks at me like I'm a fucking idiot. And eventually I go, you're going to say for copying things, aren't you? And he goes, it's for copying books. If I need a book, I can copy it. I guess he doesn't like paying for them, so he takes books, photocopies them, and keeps them. I go, oh, okay. Okay, what's the tiger for then? And he goes, it's my desk. And the whole time, he's looking at us like we're fucking idiots for asking these, I think, reasonable questions.
You did miss one moment where when you do ask him after the tiger, where did you get the copier from? He replies, do you remember?
Oh, junkyard.
A dumpster.
Dumpster, that was it. Sorry, I did forget about this.
This is when it becomes clear to us he might not be a student.
Well, yeah, he was at the uni, so I
And he
thought,
looks quite young.
he looked the right age. I thought he was just a quirky student who dresses as a wizard. And I thought that would be a fun little interaction to have. What I begin realizing is, as I realize he's taking all this stuff from dumpsters, is that I think this actually might just be one of the local homeless population who happens to be at the university campus. At this point, I feel guilty because I feel like, oh shit, does it feel like I'm taking the piss out of a homeless guy? This was not my intent. However, now I'm locked in the conversation with him. So I'm now sort of trying to make an exit. I ask him about the tiger. He says it's my desk. And then I think you ask him, "What are you studying?"
Yeah.
And he sort of just avoids the question.
And there are a very long silence, really long
pauses as he looks at us, and then he goes, "You guys aren't British." And we go, "What?" And he goes, "You're faking it. I've dealt with many con artists. You're lying." And he really accuses it. And I sort of then get a bit annoyed. And I don't know why.
I remember what you said.
I don't remember why this really irked me. But I thought the gall of this guy. And I say to him, you've got a fucking tiger. We are not the strange ones. It's not unusual to be British compared to being a wizard with a tiger. I felt it was cheeky for the guy dressed as a wizard with a tiger to go, it is unbelievable that you might be British. It's fucking unbelievable that you might be a wizard, mate. So you got to lay off. So I got a bit. I shouldn't have rose. I shouldn't have gotten annoyed, but I did. I lost my cool. I say,
You just go like, you're a wizard, mate.
oh yeah.
How are we the ones pretending?
Yes, I sort of. So I call him out on being a wizard, and he goes, I've dealt with. He gets quite defensive, and then he just goes, I'm gonna go back to my studies. And he just returns to his book, and we just walk away.
It was like a Slimesicle character.
It really was
so weird.
And like, I feel slightly bad because I'm sure that he probably has a lot going on. And we spoke to him, and apparently everyone in the town knows him.
We all recognised after, and people were like, yeah, we don't go up to that guy.
Which, again, I really had just assumed
Which
he was a quirky...
instinctually we had gone up to that guy.
I just thought he was a quirky student, but he wasn't. So that was... You'd think that'd be lesson learned, but no. Yesterday, we went on a lovely walk around a different park.
Was so weird.
And we found
Neatly
laid out.
And
there's some shoes. There's a couple of instruments. There's like a notebook.
And we're in this park, and there's like two people far away, but it's a big open field, and we can't see anyone.
Oh yeah, no. There's no. There's no one nearby whose stuff this could be. Like there's some people way off in the distance, but no one nearby. And one of the things that really jumps out to us is there's a phone left. And not only that, an unlocked phone. And we're sort of like, this person surely can't, like in my head, I'm thinking, this person surely can't be far. They've left all their stuff. And not only that, I start worrying a little bit. Because I'm like, I'll try funny, but the only time that people sort of tend to abandon all their things in this way, they don't plan on coming back.
Oh my god!
I had a real dark sort of like
that did not cross my mind. So okay, and we're stood a bit far away from it. Also, notably in this sort of circle of things was a speaker playing this sort of low.
Oh my god! Yeah, the music.
That was the thing that attracted us first. Was this sort of and we're stood quite far from it. And then I say, Jack, the phone's unlocked, and you say, quite fairly, Tom, don't go any closer. And I say as a joke, Jack, shall I press A to inspect or something? I'm like, this is a video.
He kept making jokes that this was a side quest.
It was the most video game looking thing I've ever seen in my life. So now I'm going to tell you what happens from my point of view. Is I go over to this assortment of things and I look at the phone. And the phone is an Instagram DM that says, I'll be there one moment. And the reply is, thank you. All you must do is be present. And I look at that. And I think, am I in some weird art exhibit? We're like in the middle of nowhere. And
one knows you at the phone, but you know when it's
unlocked. And like, I could
Very
take
weird.
the phone. And I was like, do I go on the phone? Have they lost it? What? There were two people really far away. There was no one. I turn around to look at Jack. And then I look forward. And when I look forward, I see a grown man with a huge wooden staff.
Staff is the word.
With eyes open as wide as they can go, charging at me. And I charging at me very fast.
You have missed details. This is
from my point of view.
No, but you missed it because not only is he a guy sprinting at you, I mean really quick. He was pacing it with a staff. This is a fucking shirtless. He was ripped, to be fair.
Shirtless, ripped. Yeah,
barefoot. Like he's just
with like cloth trousers.
He's got like a bit of a vest thing or like a cloak. And
I can't. When I say he was charging at me, and I didn't see any run up, I just looked up and he'd spawned in. And I remember Jack saying, "Don't go close to this stuff," and I did, and I engaged this guy, and the fear in my body when I looked up and I just remember thinking that I'm going to get hurt now, and I deserve it because I got too close to the orb, whatever fucking thing that, and I jump back, and he sort of gets close and he slows really quick.
He put the brakes on,
and I sort of jump back to Jack, who I'm thinking Jack knows how to box. Not that he'll win against this fucking guy with a staff, but still, it might buy me a bit of time. Now, you tell what happens from your point of view, because I was so fucking stunned.
So I was filming Tom go over to the thing because I thought this is funny. And then I stopped filming because I noticed the guy running from quite a distance. I don't know where the fuck he'd been, but he'd been a while away. I see him sprinting at us. His eyes are very wide. He's like, I'm like, oh shit. But then I sort of, I have enough time to sort of look at all the stuff. And I see there's a speaker playing the most tranquil music you've ever seen. And there's like some really ornate stuff. And I go, this guy doesn't strike me as the violent type. He is sprinting at me with a stick, but something about him tells me he isn't going to initiate conflict.
Which is great you thought that, but when a guy charged at me with a weapon and I had half a second to react, I didn't think, he's probably not the violent type.
I don't know. I had this gut fit. Perhaps I could pick up on his energy.
Yeah,
the energy he was
more
putting
spiritual
out.
than me. You've read half of that Buddhist book.
Yeah, I could feel his energy in the space, and I knew it was non-threatening. But he came over, and he was intense.
What did he then say?
You were like, sorry, I didn't mean to get too close. I was like, because I start trying to. I go, I'm ever sorry. We just kind of wondered who this stuff. It was just sort of left alone, and he's like, I'm letting it do it. I'm letting it do its thing.
I'm letting it charge.
I can't interfere, is what he says. He goes, I can't interfere. I've got to let it do its thing. I'm like, okay. Bear in mind, like, some of it is like stuff that like people leave like crystals out to charge and shit. Like, I've heard about that, but like, I didn't realize you could leave your iPhone out to charge. But whatever. He's sort of he's like, yeah, just let it do its own thing. I'm like, okay, cool. And you say, yeah, sorry, I got too close. He's like, don't.
I'm just apologising. It still looks like I'm not feeling this non-threatening energy that Jack feels.
And you sort of say to him like, basically you try to say to him,
I'm trying to make him clear I wasn't going to nick anything.
Yeah, you're like, I wasn't going to steal. He's like, don't worry, I could feel it. He sort of like tells you he could sense that you weren't a threat. Like, he says something along those lines. I can't remember, and it really amused me because I was like, okay, all right, I'm digging this. And then he just sort of like, he told us a bit about himself, and his description was, he does whatever God needs him to. That's what he said.
And I thought, why did God make you fucking charge at me, man? That's fucking scary.
He just does whatever God needs him to. He was kind of cool.
What? Yeah, and then he picked up his didgeridoo, which he was charging.
Oh, yeah, he was charging a didgeridoo.
Which
I
apparently he could interfere with.
This is the thing. He said he couldn't interfere with anything, but the second he thought we might sound Australian, he picked up that didgeridoo quick and started playing it.
He picked up his didgeridoo. I don't know if you know this, but the noise a didgeridoo makes is...
Probably like...
And he picks up the didgeridoo and goes, I've got this didgeridoo. And then I want to say at least 30 seconds, with eye contact,
blows into
this didgeridoo, going, and I am properly like, he's giving this kind of energy where he seems really nice, but don't laugh at him.
He had very, at the time, non-threatening, but unstable energy.
Yeah.
It felt that could change at any moment.
So I made a real effort to not laugh at the hilarious scenario that was happening.
The heavy eye contact didgeridoo was like tough. That was hard.
Yeah. And then we walked away.
As we did with Tiger. Basically, we keep accidentally engaging with people that look interesting, and then we realise how quickly these interactions that were fine could have turned not fine.
Yeah.
Both times. You really had this sense of being on edge. You could feel that these people would have, if we had upset them, turned very quickly.
Yeah.
And that was what got me. It was, we have now twice brushed with death. Like, you really felt this sort, maybe not death, but you combat for sure. You really felt that it was like a Skyrim. You could feel that with the wrong dialogue option, like the music would have kicked in. Like,
and I remember when we walked away from this guy, I said to Jack, like, if you wrote that in a sitcom, you would call that bad writing for how unbelievable it was.
But we don't have much longer. We've gone a bit over, but I don't mind because you actually have a little bit of stuff you need to do.
I have the beginning and end of a new segment, the Shoutout segment. In a podcast a long time ago, I said, guys, if you come up to me and ask for a shout-out, I'll give you one. I've had 4 people come up to me going, can I have that shout-out? and I've gone, yep, and then open my notes app. That segment's now closed now, as I don't want to do that anymore, as it was annoying me having to go into that notes app. Shout out to Glasgow Josh. Shout out to Paris and Eryn from Birmingham. Shout out to Los Angeles Beatrice. And biggest shout out to Eric and his wife from Los Angeles, who I chatted with for about an hour and a half in a records shop. They were the best.
I made it quite clear that I was not going to give any shout-outs, and I haven't had any requests. So thank you very much for respecting my boundaries. Look.
I think it's time.
It is time.
Over. But first,
we've got to move over. We can't go too over because we've got a fucking show tonight. We got another show tonight. And I'll tell you what, we got can I just say, because I'm a little bit excited, we got some fucking people coming tonight. We got Sebastian from the Minecraft movie. He played Henry in the Minecraft movie, but his name's Sebastian. And McKenna Grace. We got all these people.
2.
All right, we got these 2 people. But I was thinking these are people that, you know, have been in some very entertaining and well-made projects. And here they are, the Tommy in It tour.
Whoa. The Tommy Doesn't Have a Tour is an entertaining and well-made
There's a
project.
line in the show where I go, I don't think this show is good, and you say, I think this show could be better.
Everything could be better. This podcast could be better. The Minecraft movie could have been better.
And it gets better, Tom, on our Patreon, $7. But before we move over there, we must check how the worm is doing. We've caught wind that apparently, when we send you off to check on the worm, it isn't just the crew at the studio. Apparently they're getting, like, guests in. So,
Which
I
we
don't know
didn't
who
know
the fuck...
until this episode.
We didn't know until today. So, I don't know who is going to be doing this. But whoever it is, show
Over
us
to
that
you.
worm. Never mind. Pause. Check on our worm. Pause.
Over to you.
Oh, let's just look at the creature.
Well, I'm Freddie Badlining, and I have come to see how the worm is doing. Yeah, just having a little spa day, you know. The worm's doing good. Went on a bender last night with Harry, and is feeling a little bit tired. So I'm a little detox today. Just me and the worm. We're very good friends. Aren't we? Stop. Yes, sir. Yeah, the worm's doing great.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for that one. I'm glad the worm is well, I think. But we actually don't know.
We don't know.
We don't get the update until the episode comes out. I hope he's well.
Well, I think, gosh, Jack, I've got $7.
You probably should
What,
spend
should I-
it on our freaking Patreon.
That's a genius idea, Jack. And because you
Wait, hold on, Tom.
$7.
Hold on, Tom. Let me just do something quickly, just to show people how easy it is to subscribe to our Patreon. Put this here.
We're already 12 minutes over, Jack, so...
1,
Okay, don't just
2,
count your money, Jack. This is not a good look.
3,
This is real. Don't throw money. Jack,
4,
this should be cut,
5,
man. This is...
6.
Jesus, Jack.
I dropped one. 7. That's all it takes to join us weekly for a bonus episode.
Don't join. That was not
See
good.
how
I didn't
easy
like
that was? It's on the floor now. I just don't care about it. I've not even thought a second since it left my life. You will not regret this purchase. So please, we will see you
That was
on
worst.
the Patreon.
Patreon.